Why, hello. I didn't see you there. Welcome to this week's episode of The Patch.
Nice of you
Has
to join
something
us.
changed?
Something has changed. We're in a new set.
Oh, is that what it was?
That's what it is. I know it's subtle. It's hard to see. It's the untrained eye.
You wouldn't
may not
notice.
notice
Coasters.
it. Oh, wait.
I
Speaking of
thought we got
coasters,
a new hourglass.
the hourglass
Nope.
is the same.
Same
One
sand.
that I thought maybe we got one that was actually an hour.
We had a discussion before the patch started as to whether or not the gravity is different here in this location than the old location.
Yeah, I did wonder that, yeah. It's
So-
more mass under it now. This
We'll
is
find
a little
out.
bit... Well, no, that last table was actually probably more substantial than this one.
Probably.
Well,
So-
maybe it's our sense of gravity that's going to be different.
Our sense of
Well, let's discover and explore together. This week, patch number 50, Gus
Ashley!
Ryan.
and Gus. Big news, I think probably the biggest news of the day. Sony finally released the 1.70 firmware update for PS4,
They did.
They-
which
did.
introduces Share Factory and removes HDCP.
And guess what? It doesn't work with Blackmagic.
It
Wait, what?
The Blackmagic intensity cards, the things we usually capture with, apparently it's not so hot with those.
it works with the Elgatos though, right?
It does work with the Elgatos.
Yeah, I didn't know you guys weren't using Elgatos.
Oh yeah, no. Most of the time we use the Blackmagic. Most of the time, in the previous office, I was using the Elgatos almost exclusively because I didn't have a full PC.
The Elgatos
What's the
only
difference?
record in H.264, whereas the intensities can do ProRes. And when you're editing, it's better to do it in ProRes anyway because it's higher quality. It's less CPU intensive, and especially if you're editing in Final Cut, which I know a lot of you guys do.
Not me.
You guys
Don't
edit
look
in
at me.
A
Final
lot of
Cut?
Achievement Hunter guys do.
Actually, it's starting to taper down.
Yeah.
'Cause now Ray's off of Mac, so he's doing Premiere. Gavin finally gave Premiere a shot. So it really, I mean, and Michael doesn't
Yeah.
give a shit.
So if you bring H.264 footage into Final Cut 7, you have to render it before you can do anything in it.
yeah, it hates it.
So
Wow.
that's why it's like a big bottleneck. That's why typically we had been using the intensities for ProRes in the past. But if it works with the Elgatos, I mean, that's a huge step up anyway.
It is. Yeah, we're definitely closer to being able to record. I don't know that we have enough Elgatos currently because we've had some loss with those. There's been some fall off in there. A lot of people wonder sometimes why I lose a lot of footage. It was the Elgatos. They were a major problem there at the end.
It's not
granted,
Ryan. The cats
I
lost it.
threw a lot of those damn cats. I threw a lot of footage at those things. That's probably more intensive usage than most people would ever put one through. But it was starting to die at the end.
So you mentioned digging for old
Right.
games. I guess there was that big dig out in New Mexico.
The
this past
Microsoft
weekend.
documentary team that went out there and dug up E.T.
Right, they found the burial site. Have you
The
seen
burial site. It's like a pharaoh.
the naysayers?
The
What?
naysayers.
Don't tell me they're saying that this is like the moon landing.
There are yes, exactly.
You're
there are
kidding.
conspiracy theorists who there's a picture of Major Nelson out there with his hard hat on and holding a cartridge. And if
Yeah.
you've never worn a hard hat, they don't sit quite on your head. You know, there's a big cushion area to absorb impact. And the hard hat's really high on his head. So people are saying that the hard hat's obviously photoshopped onto him and that no one ever that they went out there and dug something up, but it was all staged and fake.
No human could wear a hat that inappropriately.
So I've seen like photoshops with like the Illuminati pyramid, and, like the all-seeing eye on it and stuff. And so it's a small group,
Now-
much like moon landing.
Now I like
conspiracy
the
theorists.
idea, and I really wish it were a conspiracy because that would be fantastically elaborate.
mean-
I would like the documentary to just be the surprise topic of
like
we
Blair
wanted to
Witch.
fake this,
Uh-huh.
and this is how we did it.
They did find it really quickly. I mean, they were like,
They-
okay, we're going to go dig.
I think they had
There it
already done
is.
some preliminary digs, right? Like they already done some exploration to figure out where they were going to do the major dig.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Yeah.
It's like
They
ground
would've-
radar looking for cartridges. Like,
Well, and they would have
a
known
square.
like
There
where
it is.
they would have known where everything was getting dumped at that time and what was being used, and
I mean, it's been an open secret, or not secret, but it's been openly said for many years exactly where that stuff was buried. At least they were pretty sure where it was, which
Right.
is odd because who tracks that stuff all the way to the dump site? Unless when they were clearing out the Atari building, they were like, listen, we don't have enough money to haul this away, so you guys just put it in the back of your truck and drive it out there.
Drive it till you run out of gas because we can't pay for any more gas, and then just shove it out the back of your truck. Speaking of talking about it next week,
Yeah.
did you get a chance to play Dark Souls 2?
I have indeed played PC Dark Souls 2.
How was
it? Okay, first of all,
why did you wait for the PC version?
Well,
PC Master Race over here?
Well, there's that. But we also got to the point where it was late enough it was close enough to it coming out, and we hadn't talked about it. So I figured if I was going to get it, I might as well get it on that platform and
Sure.
get it looking a little bit better. I'd heard that there had been some... Okay, I said last week that it was frame rate issues, but people said it's not frame rate issues, but it was just frame tearing, which is frame rate issues. So,
Is
all
it?
right.
You're splitting hairs at that
It
point.
really is, yeah. No, frame tearing is caused by just the frame rate being out of sync with the refresh rate of the screen. So in this case, it's a frame rate issue. It just it looks different than stuttering. So I figured I'd get on PC. I've played it now on PC for a while. It is
For a while, since
yeah,
last week.
I've got maybe 20 hours or so into it, 20, 25, I guess.
Very respectable.
No, not really for that game. I mean, it can take
Well,
a while.
for a week, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Final verdict, at least for me. Well, not final. I'm going to continue playing it. But I can understand why people like this game. I can understand, just much like with Trials Fusion, like there's a very specific type of mindset where you're like, I'm going to do this one task 1,000 times until I just get it perfectly. It's not a terribly pretty game. Honestly, the character creation kind of looks like something out of an iOS game. Like they're really low poly. And in fact, the best looking part of this game is things that are way over there in the distance. Anything that happens to
The
be kind of
blurry
close.
things?
Well, you got nice light coming through kind of a backdrop. It's not so bad.
Like nice
Way over
environment
there.
effects.
Yeah, way back there. Up here, it's a little low poly. It's a game that seems to be entirely centered around the idea of just kind of run around and do your thing.
And die a lot.
Die a lot, and it's going to help you do that by anytime you find a big boss guy, you're going to spend a couple times fighting him, trying to figure out exactly what his attack pattern is. Then you're just going to spend the rest of the fights until you get him, trying to stay out of that attack pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you find a big bad guy, he's going to be surrounded by a cliff that you can fall off of. No one's really going to tell you a story. You can go find occasional people sitting around to talk to you, but they all talk like they're on NPR and they're very sad.
Oh, I want to play this
And
game
I'm
now.
in this place and it's very dark here and we don't like being here. And maybe I could tell you a little bit about the fate of this world, or maybe I could just be sad. Bye.
Bye.